Chief Rabbi Mervis, Your Excellency, Ambassador Regev, honoured friends, Chaverim of Bnei Akiva. I never imagined that a Mazkir of Bnei Akiva would have to say, no, you can't come to celebrate Yom HaAtzmaut with us. So instead I say, we are coming to celebrate Yom HaAtzmaut with you. Thank you for joining us. In these difficult times, we hope you will still be able to mark Yom HaAtzmaut as a special and important day. Dress in blue and white, sing an impassioned Hallel tomorrow morning as we just did this evening. Wave an Israeli flag out your window. Even from our isolation, let us step out of reality and imagine that we are together with our brothers and sisters marking this day all over Israel. We live in a world where it is not easy being a young, ideological Jew. Time and again, society has reconfigured itself to attack the different forms of Jewish identity. As a nation, we were exiled. As a faith, we were persecuted. As a people, we were murdered. And as a moral light in a sea of tyranny, we are condemned. But in the last century, Bnei Akiva has shown us that there is nothing more important in this world than being a young, ideological Jew. This is because, wrapped up in Bnei Akiva's ideology of Torah v'Avodah, there is one vital, inescapable characteristic, achrayut, the importance of taking responsibility. Judaism is not a religion of rights. Our faith does not let us sit back, expecting everything to be given to us on a silver platter. From tzedakah to education, even Brit Milah, our laws and customs are not based on what any individual has the right to, but rather on what every individual has achrayut for, what we all have responsibility for. It is a fallacy to believe that responsibility comes only with power and position. In fact, Tanakh contrasts two people, both described as an ish, with wholly opposing levels of power, each of whom takes responsibility in their own way. One is well known. Mordechai is described as an ish Yehudi, a Jewish man. Mordechai saw his achrayut clearly, persuading Esther to seek an audience with the king, thereby saving the Jewish people from destruction. The other ish was arguably even more vital. Mordechai may have saved the Jewish people, but without this ish, there would have been no Jewish people in the first place. And his contrast to Mordechai is so different that we never even learn his name. The three defining elements of the Jewish people, namely nationhood, the Torah, and the land of Israel, all followed after the exodus from Egypt. But why were the Bnei Israel in Egypt in the first place? Yaakov and his family only went down to Egypt because there was food there during a famine. Egypt had food at that time only because Yosef interpreted Pharaoh's dreams and stockpiled during the years of plenty. And Yosef was in Egypt only because on one fateful day his brothers sold him into slavery. But what if Yosef had never met his brothers that day? Pharaoh's dreams would not have been interpreted. Egypt would not have stockpiled. Yaakov and his family would have starved in Canaan. No slavery, no exodus, no nation, no Torah, no land. It all hinges on Yosef meeting his brothers, and it very nearly did not happen. That day, Yaakov gave Yosef a mission to find his brothers. Vayishlachehu me'emek Chevron, vayavo Shchema. He sent Yosef from Emek Chevron, and he arrived in Shechem. Vayimsa'ehu ish v'hinei to'eh basadeh. And an ish, a nameless individual, found Yosef lost in the fields. Yosef wasn't going to make it. He was going to miss his date with destiny. Vayishalehu ha'ish lemor ma tvakesh. The ish asked Yosef, "What are you looking for?" Yosef explained that he couldn't find his brothers. The man, who knew where they were, sent Yosef in the right direction. And Jewish history played out as we know it had to, resulting ultimately in Am Yisrael, Be'eretz Yisrael, Al Pi Torat Yisrael. This stranger, taking achrayut for a lost boy, ensured the birth of the Jewish people. The fact that those in positions of power and influence within a community need to take responsibility, as Mordechai did, is obvious. But Pirkei Avot reinforces the requirement for even the nameless ish to fulfill their achrayut. B'makom she'ein anashim hishtadel liyot ish. In a place where no one is an ish, strive to be an ish. In a place where no one puts in the work behind the scenes. In a time when no one steps back to see the bigger picture, be prepared and strive to be that person who takes responsibility. Achrayut has been the driving call of Bnei Akiva throughout the decades. Time and again, Bnei Akiva has lived up to these responsibilities. In 1929, when Yechiel Eliash, Zichrono Livracha, established Bnei Akiva in Israel, in the face of opposition from the adult bodies of religious Zionism, he wasn't waiting for the realization of the right for the youth to take part. He took responsibility, achrayut. Aryeh Handler, Zichrono Livracha, founder of Bachad and the transformative figure in the early years of Bnei Akiva UK, didn't wait for anyone to cry out that the rights of young Jews in Nazi Germany were not being upheld. He took responsibility, achrayut, saving many, bringing them to the UK, and establishing the pioneering agricultural ventures of Bnei Akiva. In 1946, when the British threatened to stop Jews establishing new communities in our homeland, it was the youth of Bnei Akiva, many no more than 15 years old, who took responsibility, achrayut, to rebuild Biryah and other villages. In 1948, Esther Kalingold, Zichrona Livracha, a young Bnei Akiva Madricha from London, could not leave it to others to fight for independence. To her, it was her responsibility, her achrayut, to fight for the Jewish presence in the old city of Jerusalem, and she fell, heroically defending it. Yehuda Avner, Zichrona Livracha, having already established Kibbutz Lavi, took responsibility, achrayut, to return to the UK to serve Bnei Akiva for 2 years as Mazkir. He never stopped living with responsibility towards Israel and diaspora Jewry, serving under 5 prime ministers of Israel, then as Israeli ambassador to the UK and Australia. In the 1970s, the youth of Bnei Akiva collectively took responsibility, achrayut, for the refuseniks trapped behind the Iron Curtain. They protested and smuggled them supplies until they were able to make Aliyah. Mark Weinberg, Zichrono Livracha, Mazkir in 1999, didn't wait for others to build religious Zionist communities for him to move into. He saw it as his responsibility, his achrayut, to build new communities both here and in Israel. Yoni Jesma, Zichrono Livracha, a young Bnei Akiva Madrich, never once thought of abandoning the young Jews in his native Glasgow. Even when he went to spend time studying in Israel, he saw it as his responsibility, his achrayut, to invest time and effort in his community, producing an entire curriculum before he left, ensuring that someone was always there to educate them. And today, true to this tradition, Chaverim of Bnei Akiva do not wait for anyone else to tell us what we have a right to. We know what our achrayut is. So to the Chaverim of Bnei Akiva, I call on you to continue taking your achrayut. Whether you are Madrachim at Sviva, whether you are on the technical Sevet on a Machaneh, whether you are a Boger, whether you are on the Mazkirut, whatever your tafkid, continue with your achrayut to live an ideological life, to educate others, to lead our religious Zionist community, to build up the state of Israel. To all those taking these responsibilities right now, to all our incredible chayalim in the IDF, to our madrachim, skanim and roshim throughout the country who spend so much time each week educating their peers and the children of their communities, to all my madrachim who have instilled in me my strong ideology, and to all my chanechim who will take up this mantle, to all of you, wherever you are, thank you. In recent months, faced with the closure of Svivot, Hakshara, and Israel Machaneh, Chaverim of Bnei Akiva came together in the spirit of Achrayut to create a new type of camp, an online Machaneh. For over 30 days, Machaneh Aviv has provided over 200 Chaverim of Bnei Akiva with a daily schedule, regular tefillah, 50 hours of Torah study, peer-led learning opportunities, supper quizzes, escape rooms, and classic Bnei Akiva games remastered for Zoom. There was Ruach, singing, and Mifkad, a social environment for young religious Zionists to come together, learn, debate, and have fun. It is moments like this, seeing Chaverim taking responsibility, becoming the ish, which make me proud to be a Bienik. And if you feel hesitant, distant, or not involved enough, if you feel that it's not your place to take responsibility, I invite you to join us and do so. In Lecha Dodi, we say the word Hitna'ari me'afar kumi. Rouse yourselves, shake off the dust of complacency. Hitna'ari shares its root with the word na'ar, a youth. Hitna'ari, become youthful once again, become a bienik, an ish, and join us in our mission of Torah, Avodah, and Aliyah. Hitna'ari, be a bienik. Let us show our children what it means to proudly live a Torah lifestyle in homes built on Torah values. Hitna'ari, be an ish, and show our chanechim true avodah, what it means to volunteer, to contribute, to think about others first. Hitna'ari, let us take responsibility for our homeland, to educate, to contribute, to build and to protect Israel, and above all, to make Aliyah. None of these things are rights which we can demand. They are all responsibilities for us to fulfill. I call on the whole community to answer the prophetic cry, Kumu v'na'alet Zion, rise, and let us go up to Zion. As we say in the Bnei Akiva anthem, Yadachim, Belev amitz, be'ezrat Hashem, alo na'aleh. With a brave heart and the help of God, I know that we, and along with us, the entire Jewish community and the state of Israel, will surely rise. All we have to do is follow in those well-trodden steps of those bieniks who came before us. All we have to do is try to be the ish and take responsibility. Achrayut. Chag Atzmaut Sameach.